I was elected in December of 2006 and I took over in January of 2007. So by the end of this year, we shall complete here a 10-year service. And I have been minister, I have been parliamentary leader of my party, I was chief engineer in a private company, I was trading manager in the same company, but this is the most demanding job for me. You are not just a political figure, you are an executive. You are the chief in charge for everything, 24 hours per day, 7 days a week. In our society, mayor is always in demand with the first call, and you have no choice either to close the phone or not to respond. Not just to respond, but to mobilize people to do something which is necessary at that moment. People do not apply to anybody else, but to the mayor. This is the Cypriot system probably, not only in Cyprus, but in other Mediterranean cities as well. The municipality believes that in some areas these buildings can be allowed, and we have given 3 or 4, maybe 5 preliminary permits. The one is already finished, Olympic Tower. The other one is under construction. I think that having in mind that the cost of the land is quite high in these areas, and the interest of people to be near the sea and to have this contact with the open horizon, it's not a bad idea, but we must study very carefully all the consequences of the high buildings. That means fire provisions, safety provisions, services. The zone where it is allowed to build such a building is from the public garden. It's 1 kilometer, approximately 1.5 kilometers. There are some plots where there is now possibility to build such high buildings. I don't think that there is a real chance in other areas. Potentially they have the right to apply for high buildings, but there are some preconditions, the size of the plot, a lot of things that must be a precondition to receive such a permit. We don't have experience for servicing, providing water, electricity and so on such high buildings, and not in the building process, but afterwards when something will go wrong on the 20th floor. I don't know the facilities of our specialists, of fire squad department to take care of any accidents on that level. And of course, there is a problem with the neighbors. There are claims that several hours during the morning or in the afternoon, they don't have enough sun as they used to have in the past. But at the same time, I think that taking into consideration all the cost and benefit balance, we cannot prohibit high buildings which are existing now everywhere, but with a reasonable and very carefully studied conditions, how to build, the orientation of the building, not to create serious problems to the neighbors, and generally not to have an area where thousands of people or hundreds of cars will be accumulated, and thus creating a difficult situation. But we don't, honestly speaking, our experience is limited. We have a lot of articles, we can read a lot of things in books, but in Cyprus, the first experience on the ground is now coming out. Usually in these works are invited companies from abroad, I mean designers, engineers, architects, electrical and mechanical engineers who have a lot of experience in similar buildings. To this respect, I think that everything will be okay. But the day after is relatively unknown to us.